Well,
Yeah.
this is part of us. So, glasses here.
That was spontaneous.
Spontaneous.
I've always done presentations here that that are kind of how-tos for the do-it-yourselfers, right? So everybody has an opportunity to do all these things, the digital marketing practices for themselves. And last week I asked the question, what would people like to hear about? And Caroline said that she would like to see some of the work that I've done. So I'm taking a new approach this time. Back to this chart that I've showed the last several presentations that I've done. And I'm going to talk about email marketing today because that is my specialty, and it is one of the original social medias. We really include it in here with the newsletters primarily now, but it is truly one of the social medias. And page down. So we're going to start with mine, how it is that I do my email marketing. First, you have to develop a list. I developed my list by getting business cards and asking people, would you mind if I sent you a couple of emails? And they would then have the opportunity, yes they can, or no they don't. And I always give everybody the opportunity to opt out, and you'll see as we go along, I'm pretty diligent about that. And I want the cleanest list I possibly can. My goal is to get 100% deliverability. And that would mean from people who actually want to receive what it is that I'm sending. So I have a small little box that's not overpowering in mine. The best practices is probably to put it up in a little higher visibility. But I put mine down here. What it does, if somebody fills that out, they will then be, it's a page then that thanks them for their putting it, giving me their email address and name. And then they receive a couple of days later, 3 days later, they will receive an email asking them, are you sure you want to be part of this? And I'm asking them then to confirm that they will opt, that they wanted to receive information from me. And then at that point, I ask them for a little bit more information. And the text and the reason why we do them, what it says in the message, is that in order for me to do the best job to get information to you that's relevant to you, so I don't want to give you crap that isn't relevant to you, only information that is meaningful to you, I need a little bit more information, right? I need to know a little bit more about you. What are your specialties? What kinds of businesses do you do? Any kind of demographic information that I need. Mostly mine are what kinds of digital marketing that they do. Do they do email campaigns? Is it a website that they're interested in? Social media, whatever. So I ask them that, and then I tell them what it is that they're going to receive, right? So and then through other emails that I send them, I tell them how often they should expect to receive something, and then I specialize these. So my mailing lists are for lawyers, automotive, health services, and home improvement companies primarily, and now into food and food service as well. But jury's still out on that one. But this is then, well, I'll show you a little bit more. That then is one of the email newsletters that they would get from me, and I send them out quarterly. I should probably do that a little bit more frequently because all the data shows it doesn't matter how often you mail. In fact, the more often that you mail, if you mail daily, you're money ahead because the number of people that opt out of your list then is more than compensated for by the extra business that comes your way. So, but I do it just quarterly because it's not one of the things that I want to spend my entire working day doing. But that's my my newsletter. If they want to know more about analytics, I give 3 topics every month: analytics, being found, and then converting once they get to your website. If they want to know more, they click one of those more buttons, and it takes them to this page. And if you'll notice, these icons then match up with the icon that they clicked here, so that they know they're in the right place. That this is the subject that we were talking about. I give them another opportunity here to tell me that they want to be in, or if someone were to forward this to someone else, this is really the benefit of email marketing, that while this one doesn't apply to me so much today, but you know, had coffee with Judy this morning and she was just talking about this. So you email it to them, they get the page, somebody else joins my list, and away we go. All right, so that's mine. Here's what we do for clients. This is for an insurance company. The insurance company was formed in the early 1990s, or 2000s, I'm sorry, by a group of 5 partners who were not large enough individually to have the insurance carriers pay much attention to them. In fact, some of the insurance carriers wanted to drop them because they just weren't large enough producers. And so they banded together, formed a good, firm, medium-sized insurance carrier, and now all the brokerage and now all of the carriers want to do business with these people. So there are 5 partners, and we send these, but they all have their own books of business, as you might all know. So this one is actually for Corey Foods, but each partner gets the same newsletter that goes out, but it's personalized to them. Same content, we only have to write one set of content. One of the partners does it. We cover 3 areas as well for them. This one happens to be workers' compensation and auto insurance and some OSHA reminders. So it's all things, and it only goes to their clients where it's relevant information, right? So the goal of this campaign is to increase the number of clients, but also to increase the number of policies per client, because you have a greater likelihood of selling an additional policy to an existing policy holder than you do to somebody brand new that comes in off the street, right? So the same rules apply on this one. We click to any of those, click on this More button, or even on the picture or on the header, and it takes them to the page. And again, we ask again for the information just in case anybody forwards that to a friend. They can always join the mailing list. That's what we're trying to do with Archway Insurance. And same thing applies. This one's for the auto, and you notice that the photo is the same photo that was in the newsletter itself, so that they realize when they click on it, they know that they're in the right place, right? We don't want them to bounce immediately. And then here's some of the things I'm working on with them. Here's their leadership page right now. They're really trying to soft sell this, so they have all of the leaders, all the partners that are listed on this page. It goes all the way down to the ground here. And there's one little blurb about each one. It's crazy because if you Google one of their names, right, this page is not going to come up, because this page is not about Corey or Bob or Ron or any of the other partners. This page is about all of them. Right, so if I Google Corey, this page isn't about Corey, so this page isn't going to show. Right? So what I'm trying to do is get them each to have their own page, give the whole blurb, you know, have it individual, be human beings, talk to people like you are Corey, as opposed to an insurance broker, right? And get that information out there, and then tell them what they'll get if they sign up for your newsletter. I wouldn't mind getting this if there's good, helpful insurance hints that are going to help me be either more secure or save me some money, right? Okay. But that's so we get to Corey's newsletter sign up. There's what we ask when for a little bit more information. We're using that form, but we're not using the other page yet, and that's still in the proposal stage. But it's been in the proposal stage now for about 5 months. So. This is Animal Dental Clinic. This is a veterinary dentist in San Carlos, and we started out with, he wanted it very, very simple, very plain. We send out 2 sets, essentially the same newsletter, that we send one to the vets, to other veterinarians, because 85% of their business comes to them through veterinarian referrals. In fact, they will not take a new client unless they have a veterinarian that they can claim as their
primary physician.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, we cover 3 items again here: cats, dogs, right, which makes most of us, and then something of personal interest, because these people do. This happens to be Kachina the black bear. He traveled to a farm in Arizona where the people had him as a pet, and they gave him a root canal. And so this goes viral, and guess what part goes viral? Not many of us own black bears,
No.
but this is equally as popular as any of the other two. So people like to see that one. You'll see we'll have some other ones that are coming up. The same thing applies. Click on any of the pictures, or Louis, or Cassidy's name, or Kachina, and it takes them to a page, and then gives them a little bit more information. For the veterinarians, we talk in scientific terms. We dumb it down for the clients, right? Not the patients are the animals themselves. The clients are the person. I have to learn the nomenclature as I go along. At the bottom of this page, we again ask to continue, just to reconfirm that you want to stay in this thing, or because these things get passed around, especially the ones for the bears and the sea lions and everything else, they get passed along, and so we ask people if they want to be part of this, join the newsletter, and so we started out with 300 on the list for clients, or prospective clients, and we're up to about 3,000 right now. We also, for people that are interested in it, we have a link to a PDF version on this, because some people like to copy it. In fact, veterinarians print this out, put it in their waiting areas, and so it's really a good piece. On the PDFs, they're all branded. You'll see, though, as we go along, we experiment, and one of the things we have to do in email marketing, like in everything else, is we have to experiment, and we have to test. We have to see what works best. So we started out sending on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and we went then to Saturdays, and we found out that people are spending more time and looking at more pages on Saturdays. The open rate was not quite as high, but the ones that did open it went in greater depth, and so we like that one. This one here, cat, dog, and a sea lion. We took away all the HTML graphics, so these deliver better, get to people's inboxes better. They can't see the images when they come in their inbox, but they can see every bit of the text. These actually tested out better than the one with the graphics on the top. Right? So we stayed with that. Here's one for a new project that I'm working on. We went out and we didn't buy a list, but we hired a company that had a list. It was a directory service to do an email for us, an introductory of this is what we're doing, folks. If you're interested in joining our list, please come on. So this was done by the company called a Quick Caller out of Detroit. It introduces what it is we're trying to do. It's got links to who, what, where, when, and how. A little overview of the slide presentation that was given at an Air Cargo Association luncheon. And all of those links then go to landing pages. And the landing pages then talk more about what the product is, how it's going to work, and so forth. This one is actually the how page. Goes into all of the details, with links to everything that we need. And again, up here, we get them then to, because we don't want them on that Quick Caller mailing list, we want them on our mailing list. So we give them the opportunity to join our mailing list, and we tell them why it's important for them to join our mailing list. After they complete that form, it delivers them to this page. It says, "Thank you very much for, trusting us with your email and first and last name, and that we're not. Here's our link to our privacy policy. We go into great detail about how we won't share any information. If they want any additional information, they can call. They can email us." And then they immediately get a thank you and a welcome to the Cargo Exchange mailing list right then and there. So with they submit the button, they go to that page, and if they check their email, they have an email waiting in their inbox that says, "Thanks again. We're not going to waste your time. This is we respect your privacy. This is the deal. This is what happens when you're on our list." And on everything, we give them the opportunity to get out, because we don't want to talk to anybody that does not want to hear from us. Right? Again, our goal is 100% deliverability. Then, 3 days later, they get another email from us. But this is all automatic, right? So there's no human involvement in this. It's all set up. The machine does it all, sets the timing and so forth. They get another email from us saying, are you sure that you want to be with us, right? That you want information from us? Again, an opportunity to opt out. This is what we're trying to do, but in order for us to make sure that we're getting you just relevant information to you personally, we need you to reconfirm that you want to be in this thing. At that point then, we go and we ask them for some additional information. What markets that they go, are they primarily Asia, are they primarily Europe, are they Latin America, are they both, do they do domestic business, how much air, how much sea, how much trucking do they do? All of the things that would make sense for us to be able to get them more pertinent information to them individually. And again, we go over what our privacy policy is with a link here. We tell them why we're getting this information. We're very, very upfront, and always we're giving people the ability then, because they will get another thank you for updating your information for us, another chance with a privacy policy, and then that's the page that they land on. And then another email saying thanks for updating it, and again the opportunity to back out. Right?
5 minutes to go.
Well, fantastic. So anybody want my 5 minutes?
We'll have a question.
How about questions?
Yeah.
That's the last slide.
Oh,
So now I wanted to save some time for questions, because I went through these pretty quickly, but I hope everybody got the basic idea of what we're doing with email marketing.
so
Yes.
you build the website yourself
Well,
for
not
the
always.
client?
Not
I mean, to have that automatic, questionnaire, automatic opt-out, all that.
Yeah, we do. We build a plan, right, for how this is all going to work, and we see the resources that already exist, and then the resources that we need to add to get this whole machine to work. So if they already have a website that will convert, because in the end of the day, we don't want them just to visit. We want them to do something once they get to that website. If they already have that in place, fantastic. But we do need to build then new landing pages, right, that are relevant to that specific message that we send out, right? So that there isn't that disconnect. That why am I getting this? I clicked on this and I was expecting to get this, but in fact I got this. We're never going to be perfect there, because some people have greater expectations, even though you tell them that that's not going to happen. When they get there and it doesn't happen, they're still disappointed, but that's, I think, just human nature. David?
Yeah, just curious, is there an explanation for why the non-graphic pages are more popular than the graphic ones? That was kind of counterintuitive.
Well, not in today's world now, because a lot of us get our email on these.
Right.
And they don't render, the graphics don't render nearly so well.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes now in Windows 7, which I just moved to myself, it doesn't immediately offer me images, because images in those files are where the viruses come in, right? So you're still going to get the little red X there that says there is an image here if you want to click on this, and it'll open up that image. But most of it, we got to get that message out in text. And if most of it is just garbly, a screen that looks like it has a whole lot of images on it, and it arrives to you, and you got to kind of sort through the little red X's to read what this is all about.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't tend to work so well. Nadine.
Craig, a question. Have you done any research to find out whether someone is more likely to give you that follow-on information if you ask them immediately when they first see you, or if you wait the 3 days before you ask them to reconfirm and then get into more specifics about who they are?
Well, you can do a couple, but I know that if I ask you, Marcia, for a quarter, and she reaches in her pocket and she said, yeah, he's an all right guy, maybe he'll leave me alone if I give him a quarter, right? So she gives me a quarter, and then I turn around and say, well, thanks, but now I need $1, right? The defenses automatically go up. We're trying to reduce the objections and the friction that exist in all of us when we're trying to do business with somebody else. You know, we all want to make sure that we're going to get a square deal here, and these people are being honest with us. And I think if I wanted all of that information up front, I should have asked for all of that information right then, as opposed to trying to do the trickery. But we all know that the more that we ask for, the less we're going to get, right? Because people don't want to sit there and spend 5 minutes filling out. But if you are then able to tell them what it is that they're going to get, right? And that's all that you should send them, right? Don't send them anything less. Don't send them anything more, unless the rules change and you communicate those clearly and give them that opportunity to opt out again.
Awesome. Thank
Right?
you.
I felt like the prominent message on each page was this opportunity to opt out,
Yep.
and I appreciate that. At the same time, I feel like it's somewhat, I don't know, it's almost like a wife who keeps telling her husband, "Do you love me? Do you love me?" You know, like, do you find that maybe that's reverse psychology, that people, by telling them opt out, they don't want to opt out?
I think there's part of that. But also, if this guy keeps asking me, you know, if I want to stay in, right, then there's probably something behind him, right? That if he only wants to talk to me, if I want to be talked to, there must be something to it. So I trust this person. That's all we're trying to do, is we're trying to establish that trust. That they're going to do for me what they told me they're going to do, and nothing more, nothing less. I think that's where that goes. So the double opt-in has been tried very successfully across all platforms, and I personally like it. I mean, my inbox this morning was, I don't know, I got probably 100 emails that are sitting there waiting for me right now, and I think I might read 10 or 15 of them. You know, I read all of them from clients. I'd read anything from you folks, but you know, there's so much junk that we get, and we just sort through. And I just assume not have that. You know, even though it takes nothing to hit the delete button, it's still, I got to hit the delete button. I mean, that sounds terrible, doesn't it? But it is. I do feel that it's an intrusion to send me something about, you know, nylon stockings. You know, it does nothing for me, right? So, you know, where does the stuff like that even come from? And the same ones that will send me things over and over again because they'll buy different lists, and I happen to be on both lists, but they won't even go through. Well, some of them are, because it comes from different email addresses, but.
Terrific.
I really want to make this thing, and most of us that are above board in this want to communicate only with the people who want to receive that communication. You know, the Scott's fertilizer people, right, that send me a newsletter 4 times a year. I use this example all the time. They tell me what I should be doing in the spring, or they suggest what I should be doing in the spring. They suggest what I should be doing in the summer. They suggest what I should be doing in the fall. They suggest what I should be doing in the winter. And those are all nice suggestions they have, right? I might act on them and I might not. But I welcome that newsletter 4 times a year. But there are so many others that I really don't welcome, and I want to get off. And I'm afraid, actually, to hit the unsubscribe button for fear that that's going to tell them that there's a live person on the other end, and then I'm going to get bombarded even heavier. So
That's something new and different.
Thank you for your presentation, Craig.